you are. Hang on. Unmute. Shirley, can you speak? Shirley? I've got her unmuted, but I can't hear her.
There's no audio.
Oh, is that her? I think that was her.
Shirley? She's got her hand raised. I love it.
She typed that she has no audio.
Oh, she has no audio. Okay. Okay. Shirley, I'm just going to say a couple of things to you. And if you want to, you can type or just receive what I'm saying. You had typed that your husband, you had just lost him a month ago. I love the two of you as a couple, is the first thing I want to say. Your husband is kind of cracking me up a little bit because as I'm connecting to him, much like Leslie's son was a little shy, your husband is not that way. Like he's kind of primping himself up a little bit and kind of saying, hey, I get to be like the focus of attention. And I love the fact, and it also feels like within the course of your relationship, that the closeness between the two of you was quite extraordinary. He's got quite a big heart. You would have been an extraordinary wife to him in the sense that he doesn't always understand himself. And so I think you kind of spoke his language and helped him figure things out. I'm also aware of the fact that he was ill for a little bit of time. So there would have been a great deal of need for you to be taking care of him and everything. And I also know toward the end of it that there would have been hospice called in at this. And so thank God you got some assistance, because I feel like a great deal of this you did on your own. He is smiling about everything, and he says he's hungry, which kind of makes me laugh. So you would have known him, I think, to have a pretty healthy appetite. But as he's connecting to me, I know there might have been a time when he wasn't. So it's more that he's just trying to give you a little bit of sense of humor. And he's such a dedicated soul to yours. And I just have to repeat that. I just feel like this man almost could not have lived without you. So I don't think he could have done it without you. And I'll just very sweetly say that. Please just know that I can completely feel his soul, and that I just want to send you some love from him. So I'm sorry we can't get a response back that way, but oh good, thank you so much for giving me a lot of peace. Good. He's just, he's very charming to me, but I feel like not everybody understands him. And it's kind of like, I'm getting goosebumps. He's showing me like he leaned on you like you were a crutch. Like honestly, the man could not have done life without you. And so I want to speak just a little bit on a different level beyond his soul to yours. Okay. You have had a very established role in your life taking care of him. And so your grief is going to be a little extraordinary right now, because not only is his soul in the spirit world, but you've lost the role that you've been playing with him of caregiver. I love your nurturing nature, but I really want to say to you that you'll want to figure out where else to direct that energy. But I really feel like your own soul needs the nurturing right now. And please don't feel guilty at all if you're feeling relieved, and that might disrupt his soul, because I almost feel like he was feeling like he was in imposition. And part of the reason why it's good that he transitioned when he did, he's saying, because I think he could have gone a little bit longer, but it's almost feels like right at the end, things got a little bumpy and he went sooner than you thought. And the feeling I get from his soul is, you know what, I think I've done this long enough and I think it's time for me to go. And he doesn't like change. So actually, I think that's one of the biggest signs of love he could possibly give you, is the fact that he actually stepped out before he probably could have. And that was totally to give you love and to support you in what you've done for him. Okay. So I'm sending you good. She's writing some lovely things, affirming all of that. And it's really weird not to be able to talk to you, but I just want you to know this man is, he's sending all these He's very romantic, so he's popping himself up as kind of Pepe Le Pew right now, and he's sending all these hearts to you. So I just want you to know that that this is an eternal love from him, and a gratitude piece. But he's kind of pointing at you, going, "Now it's your turn." So I'm just going to give you all that love, okay? Okay. And Terry, if there's a question or anything that comes up out of this too, I mean.
Well, I do want to say something, because I'm looking at, what people are posting, and there's a lot of suffering and there's a lot of talk about suffering. And I want people to remember what you said when we first started. And my apologies to everybody. I didn't record that first part. I do that sometimes. I forget to push the record button, but I did push it when you were talking to Leslie, so we got that part. To remember that, okay, so I'm a grief counselor. Austyn is a grief counselor. So I'm going to keep steering us back to the grief counselor hat, which I'm sure everyone's going to hate me for, because they just put the readings. But we have to reframe the way we look at suffering. We have to teach ourselves, to train ourselves to realize that everything is impermanent. Birth and death is a revolving door. And Brant and I are both reading this book called Shattered Assumptions, which I would recommend to everybody. There's Brant holding up the book. And Brant, type that into the message box if you would, which teaches us that it's these egos, these earthbound bodies that want to hold on to everything. This is my husband, this is my child, this is my house, this is my job, this is my identity. And we cling to this stuff so tightly, and it's impossible to hold on to it. And that's what Buddhism is all about. What Buddhism would say is, well, just don't cling so tightly. Just don't hold so tightly to those assumptions. Be willing to let them go. There's a famous Buddhist story about if you have your favorite little teacup that you love and you use it every day, and it breaks after 30 years of drinking your tea in it every day, you're just devastated. But if you understand that the cup by its nature is already broken, then when it actually breaks in the physical world, it's not so devastating. So what I'm trying to say, I don't mean to dismiss anybody's grief. I've lost a child too, but I hope that you will, in addition to getting readings, open up your understanding of impermanence and the natural ebb and flow of existence, and read some books. I don't know if Shattered Assumptions is necessarily the right book. I'm going to type into the chat box some books that I recommend, and then I will shut up and get off my academic soapbox and let Austyn take over again. Go, Austyn.
Okay. I wanted to talk to Chrisette. She asked a really groovy question. Does the soul miss those of us that are on earth and not in the spirit realm? Just before my mom died, she said she didn't want to go because she would miss us. Chrisette, if you can find your unmute button and join me right now. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm
so glad. Mom. Well, first of all, I want to say that I am really touched by your mom. Now, I'm charmed by your mom straight up, because your mom is kind of flustered that I'm calling her forward. So I feel like she's trying, like, oh God, me? I just came here to support people. She's really, your mother is such a nurturer by nature. She's such a family person. And I know that your mother is one of those people that remembers everybody's birthday, remembers everything that's going on in the family, and really is like the heart and soul a great deal in your family. You would understand those things, yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, good.
Yes.
And I also know she's like crimping her hair. Like, I think your mom's hair pretty much stayed the same for most of her life. I don't feel like there's a lot of ebbs and flows here. So she's like, and there's a fair amount of what feels like almost like aqua net. So I feel like there's just like, it's a little bit of it might've been a little bit of a helmet at times. And so, but it always looks like ready to go. And your mom is one to be caught off guard. So mom always wants to kind of be put together. So that's why she's cracking me up right now. So she's like, does this look okay? Is this all right for me to wear in front of everybody? So I love this like sweet nature with her, because it's, she's again, not used to being the center of attention, but my God, what a mecca of love. She wants to thank you for a lot of the letters that you wrote for the people that came to her funeral. There was a tremendous amount of people that came to her memorial, and she's really overwhelmed by this. And also the articulation of her obituary that was in the newspaper touches her so much, because she said it's as if they picked the words like bouquets of flowers. And she just said just the nice things. It was very nice. And again, she said that they talked about things about me that like people just don't know. So she felt like a movie star. It's really funny, because I also know by going into movie star that your mom has her television shows that she likes, and they can be a little gossipy sometimes and a little kind of like full of that kind of stuff. But it's cute, because like she wants a group of people when she watches television, and she kind of wants to do that thing. So she feels like she's a celebrity, which I'm very endeared by. Again, your mom, like I love her. She can come anytime and say hi. But I also know that there was a tremendous amount of the family, and you're kind of the conduit, Chrisette, for getting, and we just watched Terry leave the room. Chrisette, there's this really beautiful thing about, let me just unpin I'm gonna spotlight my video for a moment. Hi there, if you don't mind. Chrisette, I just wanna say that, I'm so in love with your mom, but again, it's really weird for her to have the attention on her. But so she's shifting it like that, because she's like, enough about me. You also have a brother, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so she needs to say hello to your brother, clearly. And she talks about your brother kind of stepping up into new shoes since she passed away. Like he's owning more new responsibilities and kind of taking over some of the things that mom might have done. And also the fact that she says that your journey through missing mom has been very private. You're trying to be strong for everybody. And she says that there's been a lot of times where you've been more, just kind of reserved and wondering why you haven't had this big emotional release about mom. And she says, and I can speak to that if I can, so I'm going to switch out for just a second to grief counselor. There she is. Yes. No, it's fine. I like seeing you. Oh, you're not the spotlight. Okay.
No, I'll show you me.
No. I would love to see you. You know what? Let me see if I can share. Let's see if we can.
Who are we talking to?
We're talking to Chrisette.
Oh, I just saw her a minute ago.
Yes, there you are.
Can you hear me as well? I'm Christine, her twin sister.
My twin sister is here too.
Oh, you're kidding.
Can you hear me?
We're twins.
Hi, sis.
Okay, you guys.
Sis.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so you guys, yes, I can totally hear you. So what I'm going to ask from you guys, this is so fun. Thank you for chiming in. No wonder why your mama came forward. So let me separate the two of you. Which of you has the son?
That's me. Well, we both have sons.
Okay. One of you has a son and the daughter?
That's me, Christine.
Okay, and me, who's me?
Christine.
Christine. Okay, hi, Christine. And then
hi.
Chrisette, you're the one, you have two boys or one boy?
Two boys.
Two boys. Okay, so now I know which one you are, so when your mom talks about you, will know where to go. Okay, Christine has a son and a daughter. Chrisette has two boys, right?
That's right.
Got it. Okay.
And one disabled daughter.
Oh, you sweet thing. You sweet thing. Okay. All right. So, so it's important for both of you to know, and by the way, Christine, thank you for chiming in, because that's why your mom was so nervous. I was trying to figure out, like, I was like, you're doing a great job. Like, your hair looks fine. I think she was nervous because she knew you were in the room, and she was worried because your mom will never play favorites. She doesn't.
No.
She gets really upset. Like she
Yeah.
can't do the favorite thing. Like if
No.
she would try so hard, and that really speaks to holidays. So when we're talking about like Christmases and we're talking about those things, everybody gets equal amounts. And you guys had stockings, right?
Oh, yes, every year.
Oh yeah, because Mom's talking about the stockings, and it's really funny because I feel like how she lays everything out is like everybody gets chocolate, everybody gets this, everybody gets this. So nobody's going to hem and haw about it. And she's teasing your brother a little bit because your brother would always want more.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's having so much fun with this whole thing. She's like totally giggling and having a fun time with it. So Chrisette, I want to go back to the question that you have about missing. Okay.
Yes.
This sweet woman.
I love her so much.
This woman, it is equal back, girls. It is absolutely equal back. I am so overwhelmed with love. So love is immortal. And that's the thing that doesn't die. So you're never, ever, ever going to have to worry about this woman coming through with signs and symbols and things like that. Now, Chrisette, Christine, is this correct that you have not been feeling Mom as much as Chrisette has? Is that true?
Yes, I'm
okay, because
today,
your mom just said, I got to straighten this out right now. It's not that I'm spending, because you know how important equal value is with your mom. Your mom is like, please tell her. She's teasing you a little bit. She says, she says your head's a little too busy.
I'm sorry, can you what'd she say?
And she says sometimes it's a little easier to talk to your sister because your sister's mind isn't quite as busy.
Yes.
So she says what you can do is help to make her job a little easier by working on keeping your mind, finding a way to kind of calm your mind down a little bit. But I promise you, all you have to do is ask this amazeballs mom to just bring it on. And I want both of you guys and everybody that's listening, especially with a loved one, and you can do this with different loved ones that you have, or you can do it with like, you know, everyone, you can assign a different thing. I want you to give them 3 numbers that they can talk to you with. So for instance, my dad, when my dad died, and I'm in his den, so he's back here. That's my dad. Anyway, so my dad speaks in 1, 2, 3, which was our sign back and forth from each other that we loved each other. So it was I love you. So I'll see 1, 2, 3 on a license plate. I'll see it on a confirmation code. I see it on the clock at 11:23. I'll see it on the or 1:23. I always am looking for 1, 2, 3 everywhere because it's become a really big deal to my dad, and it's absolutely fascinating too. And I'll just add this as a side note. I was trying to set this Zoom thing up in a totally different part of my parents' house, and I couldn't do it in there. And so it's perfection that the only place in the house that I could do the Zoom thing was in my dad's den, right? Right? Isn't that hilarious?
It looks like a dad's den with all the cars.
I want you.
That's beautiful.
No, actually, it's crazy. The cars are my mom's.
Really?
I like that.
Yeah.
That thing.
Oh yeah.
Austyn, can I ask you?
Yes.
Is Mom okay? Is Mom okay? She was so sick.
Okay. So I want to talk about. Let me just ask you a check-in question right now. From everything I've said about Mom so far, give me 2 words that describe everything I've said about her so far.
Happy.
Vibrant.
What else?
You gotta.
Curious, self-conscious, goofy, excited, considerate. None of those things are. So remember, when we get ill, that's the physical body's relationship to the soul. When a medium speaks to them, I'm with her soul. I'm with the essence of her. I'm with the part of her that never dies. So her physical body could not hold the container of this stunning gal. And so what I am going to read is the essence of the magnetism of your mama.
She was a big personality.
She is an okie dokie, and she's got a funny sense of humor. In the emails, you might miss a little bit because she'd send the jokes through the emails.
Well, you know that when you said that she wanted everybody around for TV and stuff. Excuse me, I'm getting over a bad cold. But we're Canadians, so hockey is a big thing. So we all had to have a big party on our bed for hockey. And then we'd have these shows, you know, these shows we'd watch in the evening, and she'd say, come down and watch Say Yes to the Dress. Come down and watch Dr. Cole. So,
and
you know,
also,
that was her.
Didn't you watch The Bachelorette as well?
No, well, we watched it a few
Not
times.
as much.
And that wasn't for us. Yeah.
Okay, because there's some dating show or some other thing, and I'm so sorry, I'm not a big TV watcher, so she's talking to me about like in a foreign language. I'm like, the only one I know is The Bachelorette. So anyway, but that's sitting around, but see, that's also because there were times when Mom was in and out of consciousness too, right toward the end. This is a great way for her to affirm, I remember everything, and they do. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope it's
thank you.
fabulous. She's fabulous. I love it.
She is.
Yeah.
She
And
is fabulous. Thank you so
a really,
much.
really good force of nature. So since she has this much energy, you guys challenge her. She's your mom after all. Challenge her to come through, give her, and so really what we're doing is we're expanding this soul conversation. We're teaching them how to talk. We're learning how to converse with them in a different language. That's all we're doing. Okay?
Okay.
Well,
So nice meeting both of you.
Thank you so much, Austyn. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
We love you,
And
Mom.
thanks, yeah.
we told you to
And
come
we
thank
through.
made
You
you.
did.
Such a great question. Yeah.
Thank
And then when you
you.
guys are finished, you're so welcome, sweetie.
So Austyn, I want to ask you two things.
Yes,
Somebody's
ma'am.
asking about their pets, which I would love to hear you talk about, but hold that
Okay,
thought.
where are we?
That would be
Where are
Laura.
we?
She says, do you think our pets are in the same part of the veil as human energy, or are they able to interact? So hold that thought, because I also want to stop and put in a plug for the Afterlife conference. But let me just talk briefly about pets. I will put in a link in the chat box to an amazing channeled message that I got from my son about what animals are and what their relationship is to everything on earth and why they have incarnated with us the way that they have. But the short version of that is animals are not subjected to the same egoic attachment that we are. They are different kinds of beings, kind of like angels are different kinds of beings. So Austyn, I would love to hear what you have to say about that. Put a bookmark in that. But let's stop and remind, we have to have a commercial for the Afterlife conference. Austyn will be there. Our conference is in November 1 through 4 in Orlando, Florida this year, and Austyn will be teaching a whole bunch of classes and doing a whole bunch of stuff, small group readings, private readings. She's teaching a workshop. She's teaching a thing on how to build a Day of the Dead altar. So she clearly has something she wants to say right now. So I'm going to just say afterlifeconference.com. That's it. I'll put it in the chat box. Austyn.
What is tickling you so much?
Yeah.
I'm dying to know.
Okay. To Kimia Capria, I hope I've said your name correctly. She literally wrote, is anyone else's cats going crazy? I am literally almost falling off my chair on that one. I am laughing so hard on that one. That is hilarious. So the animals can see everything. It's probably a little bit of a good thing. They don't talk like we do, right? I suppose. Yeah, if the animals are going crazy, probably because, you know, when we did that idea of that connection of the white light thing, what we're doing is we're essentially allowing all of our souls to be really joined and connected. But I think it's hilarious about the cat. I love pets in the spirit world. They totally crack me up. In fact, one of the first times I met a guide of mine, and a really significant one that's become probably the most, I'm going to put my video up here. Hope you guys don't mind. Hi, there I am again. I wasn't really sure about guides. I'd been doing the work for a while, and I knew I was connecting with souls and such, but I didn't like have this, like everybody was talking about, well, my guide said, yada, and I was like, God, that'd be so nice. And then one day I was doing a reading for somebody, and this giraffe walked in. sounds like I'm gonna set up a joke, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, one day this giraffe walked in, but this giraffe walked in, and I was trying to like connect it to the clients, and made no sense in the reading. And then 5 readings in a row, this giraffe kept walking in, and it's hard to ignore a giraffe. So eventually I came to understand that her presence was an energetic one and a guidance one. And she represented when the spirit world really wanted to thank someone for kindness to animals, because they are our soul's opportunity to do something right. They can't speak. Their needs are unknown to us, so we can really only come from unconditional love with our pets when we extend to taking care of them. And they oftentimes supplant people's association with human beings, because our 4-leggeds become sometimes the one that we talk about is, well, this is my partner, or this is my husband, or this is my wife. So animals are amazing. They're amazing. But my guide's name is Sophie, and she always recognizes incredible acts of kindness. And when she licks someone, and if anybody knows about giraffes, their tongue is ridiculously long. When she comes and licks someone, I know I'm really almost with an animal emissary, and that to me is a pretty extraordinary thing. But I rely on her a lot, and I trust her implicitly. So animals not only, you know, function on that level, but they also, you can use them energetically to I just taught a mediumship class in Los Altos this last weekend, and also in Santa Barbara the week before. And the class I did some shaman work with animals, because people don't realize how powerful they are. But when you can get people in their 5-year-old self, and you can get them walking around imitating a jaguar, they kind of find this empowerment within themselves that they realize they're not utilizing. So power animals are extraordinary, and that's another way. So, you know, much like we're talking about mediumship as a way to make this bridge between what's invisible and what's visible, working with guides and working with, you know, animal energies or things like that, all of them are tools to help you facilitate that soul communication, to help you understand that those things are actually real. They get created in a dimension. So much like my home lives on a latitude and a longitude, when you are imagining something, you're actually creating a longitude and a latitude in space and time, which is pretty crazy. So Terry, do you have anything that you'd like to ask? Or
there's just so much. I'm trying to look right now for this link to this thing I have about animals, so I'm going to be rooting around here looking for that. But this is absolutely wonderful. I mean, the animals are here, like I said, they're guardian angels. I mean, my dog takes care of me, because if I didn't have to take her out for a 3-mile walk every morning, I wouldn't take a 3-mile walk every morning, and I'd be sitting here on my fat ass and would never get any exercise. So by me giving her exercise, she's giving me my exercise. That's just a really small part of it. But the real part of it is they come here to serve us in certain ways. This is the channeled message I got. I told this story in one of my books. My mother came to visit me when I lived in this cowboy town in Oregon, and she wanted to go to the rodeo. And I've never been to a rodeo, but my mom wanted to go, so we went. And the minute the rodeo started, and they opened up the gate, and the little baby cows came running out, and the cowboys roped them and gave them whiplash to the little cows, I started to cry. I was hysterical. And I just started to call out to my guides and say, what is this? You know, what is this pain that I feel? What is this with the animals? And it was like this scroll unfurled in front of me, and this whole thing was revealed to me, that the animals made an agreement to incarnate with us, to serve us, to be food, to be labor, to be companionship, to be all the things that they are. And all they ask for us in return is to honor the agreement and treat them with respect, which we don't do.
Terry, you've referred to animals twice now as angels, and I totally agree with you. And it brings to mind a verse from the New Testament, of all things, where it says that angels are walking around among us and we're not aware of them. And I always interpreted that to be, these are the animals, you know, they hear everything, they see everything, and they, maybe even they report back. I don't know, but You know, I like the idea of our four-legged friends being angels. You know?
And our two-legged friends and our no-legged friends, like,
Yeah.
you know, all of them. And you know, spiritually speaking, and Austyn can really speak to this as a shaman, the animals, the plants, the minerals, which are the stones and rocks and sand, everything is interconnected and part of this one creation. We are not at the pinnacle of creation. We're not the top of it, like the Old Testament might tell us. We're just an equal part of it, and we have to work collaboratively with the elements and the plants, the minerals and the animals, because we're all in this soup together. Austyn, would you like to say something about that, about, you know, the elements? And I know that you're so good at that stuff, and I would love to hear your thoughts.
Okay. So much, it's a really interesting add to that, what you're talking about, because I love opening sacred space. I would not work if I don't. And sacred space is an absolutely personal intention of creating a dynamic where you're solidly in your soul before you begin a soul-to-soul communication, whether it's trying to access wisdom from the spirit world, connecting with a loved one, praying, anything. Really to set an intention and want it to have the most bang for the buck. You really want to be as soul-centered as possible. So in the shamanic traditions, you know, there's obviously tremendous power when it comes to saying prayer or calling in angels and calling in guides. And I did that for the longest time, where I would just pray to infinite intelligence. I call it God, but you know, everybody has their other terms for it. And I would pray for my sessions ahead of time. But what I was missing was that component of connecting it to the earth. So what was shamanism was brilliant for me was not only did the animals teach me to expand all of my skills as a medium and as an intuitive, because they don't, when you walk within the soul of an animal, they don't have random thoughts. They don't have this, you know, dilemma where they're like, God, my coat looks really bad today. I shouldn't be out in the jungle. I mean, they don't like have insecurity and all the worry Tourette
It's really bad.
plagued by, right? So when you connect with an animal, you're in pure consciousness. You're in that solid, just individual dynamic thinking that's very focused, and it's powerful. But so the animals were dynamic that way, but having this idea of connecting your soul conversations to the grid of the earth as well is where the elements come in handy. And so when any shaman creates a sacred space, they will create that grid. So they'll honor an animal or the direction of the south, and then or depending on traditions, they'll start in different directions. But one of the ones I work with, it begins in the south. And so I'll turn to the south and I'll call in the animal for that. And then that creates the physical plane and connects my soul to the earth of my soul in this experience. Then I turn to the west, and that honors kind of my emotional response, my soul's emotions within this earth. Then the north is how I vision things and how I go forward, and also where we connect with the spirit world in a sense. And then the east is honoring all the transitions in my life and the way that sunrises and sunsets create cycles and things like that. So by creating that grid and then honoring Mother Earth and honoring Father Sky, and then calling in all the angels and all the other fab, you know, energies that support our soul, I've really allowed my soul space, which is that energetic bubble that surrounds my soul, that it like cocoons my soul, to be solidly in my human being experience, as well as perfectly connected to the spirit world and the universe. And to answer Carrie's question, which I probably didn't do completely succinctly, in the direction of the south for me is the earth element, in the direction of west is water, in the direction of north is air, and in the direction of east is fire. So then you can do it alchemically if you want to. You can pull tarot cards for it. You can assign different guides for it. But the idea is you're creating a very solid longitude and latitude that says to the spirit world, when I'm in this place, bring it on. So I would never do mediumship sittings. I would never do any of my work. I did it way before tonight because I had a feeling there might be a couple of people joining us. And I really created that space because your soul, if I'm connecting with you, you don't want me in any other place than the best place I can be, where my ego and my personality is totally out of the conversation. And my soul is open to the wisdom of the universe, because I can give you some knowledge that I've gained, but a medium should be speaking way beyond their own intelligence. And that's the wisdom that the spirit world will distill into my facilities to be able to really represent that soul, or to help your soul expand.
And so if I could just jump in with wearing my theologian hat, Austyn and I did a weekend retreat together, and it was the first time we really worked closely together, and it was so great because she brought in this great mediumship stuff and shamanism stuff, of which I have a little, but not nearly what she has. And I kept bringing in my historical, academic, theological thing. So I just want to throw this in, which is something that Brant will relate to. In the Western world, I'm just going to speak of the Western world, before Christianity came along, before monotheism, the religion of the Hebrews, came along, everybody was shamanic. Everybody lived attuned with nature, and they had spirit animals, and they created sacred space, and they built stone worship spaces, and they communed with the plants and were attuned with all the cycles of nature. So the holidays and the rituals and the ceremonies had to do with spring and fall and harvest and winter and all of that. All of that got taken away when monotheism, the idea of one male god who rules over all of this, came into popularity. And all those practices, such as opening sacred space and calling in the four directions, which relate to the elements of earth, wind, air, and fire, talking to Mother Earth and Father God, all of this stuff, working with the stones, all of that disappeared. And all those things got replaced with Bible stories and Bible incidents. And so instead of honoring winter solstice and the light coming back to the earth, we now have the birth of Jesus. None of that is actually historically correct. It was all superimposed. So our roots as human beings, especially human beings in the Western world, we have this in us. We already know this stuff. We've known it all along. In contemporary Western life, we've had it sort of stripped out of us. And so somebody is asking in the chat, where's a good place to go to shaman school? So Austyn, where would you recommend?
Well, I think I'm going to switch video just so I'm, Okay, there are a number of shaman schools in the country. Both Terry and I met at the Four Winds, which is based in Utah. They teach at Kerpalo, they teach at in Joshua Tree in California, and they also teach at Rhinebeck in New York as well, amongst other places, and in Park City, Utah. Phenomenal organization. They've had some shifts and changes in their personnel, and there were some people that I really love that have left, which makes me, you know, I was very fortunate to be there when I was there. Individually, I want to mention Linda Fitch. She was pretty, I call her Pachamama, which is the shaman word for Mother Earth. She is my Pachamama. It's L-A-N-D-F-I-T-C-H, Linda Fitch.
There's her website.
Amazeballs. She's amazing. She also is a mountain herself. She's like 6'100". Isn't that right, Karen? She's so tall. I feel like a 4-year-old.
She's as tall as I am. Yeah.
I know. She is. She is. I think she's
and
taller.
Beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
Well, just like you, Brant. Just like you.
Oh, Michael Harner. Somebody suggested Michael Harner.
Michael Harner is also wonderful. And also Sandra, oh my God, why am I blanking on her name? Ingram. Sandra Ingram is, and the reason why I mention these other places is just because the experience that Terry and I had.
Sandra Ingerman.
Ingerman, thank you so much. I apologize for that. The reason why I'm mentioning is because I think when you witness people having a skill or something, you think, okay, I'll go there and then I'll match that. The thing is that I really want your authentic soul to pick what's right for you. Because Hank Wasserman focuses on one thing. Sangre Ingerman focuses on another. The Four Winds focuses on another. Right. Your soul deserves that much respect that you investigate what is the best option for you. And if shamanism feels groovy to you, find a really great practitioner that makes sense for you. The other thing I would say is before you get all into the classes and everything, have a shaman session. They can be kind of kick-ass, because they do some pretty amazing things, because we're working on the level of the soul, and it's energy medicine with some really fascinating tools on top of it. And as the medium, it's absolutely helped me so much, because when I have people come to me and they want a reading, and if an ancestral issue comes up, I've got tools to be able to help them with the next step. So it's been a blessing to me, because it's allowed me to become integrated a bit into my clients' lives. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity, because I don't cross-promote my skill set. However, if your soul feels comfortable with me, I just feel it's kind of my responsibility to be able to help you as much as I can. So I'm really lucky that way, because I have some just really amazing clients that I would not be in this place now if I didn't have them. I wanted to call attention, if I can, Terry, do you mind if I shift? Because
no, please, honey, do whatever you want. Absolutely.
Question from BJ, and BJ, hang on for a moment, because I'm trying to scroll up and find it, because we have all these amazing conversations. I'm so excited people are talking.
While you're scrolling, can I just jump in very quickly?
Please.
Well, I wanted to offer a word of encouragement to everybody who's listening tonight, and using Terry's comments as a springboard, where she was talking very accurately about how the belief systems and the faiths that were kind of nature-based got suppressed and then overpowered by Christianity, and I would kick that maybe up a level and say that a lot of those ancient belief systems were rooted in the divine feminine, and they were very nature based, and then these very powerful patriarchal based faiths like Judeo-Christianity and Islam and so forth kind of overpowered. And years, and now is the time really for there to be a reconciliation and a balancing. And that's why when you look at the 100 people that have been on this webinar tonight, almost all of them are female. You guys are the thought leaders. You are the spiritual leaders. You're the ones who are restoring the balance, and saying, wait a minute. And, we wouldn't have problems like global warming, thank you very much, if we had retained that balance from the ancients and gone forward. So thank you to all of you who are on this webinar tonight. You guys are making things right again. And as a guy, I'll just tell you, I thank you for that. It's wonderful.
Wow, Brant, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. You're absolutely right.
Okay, Austyn, did you find the question?
Yes, well, I remember it. Well, first of all, okay, Brant, the man, the coolest man.
I might be the only man still on this webinar. I might be.
No.
There's a couple on there.
We have plenty of gentlemen part of this, and I'm thrilled about it. But I just want to give a little shout out to Brant, because for those of you that are new to the Afterlife conference, which Terry Daniel, and I'm going to put her mug on screen, this gorgeous woman that I'm putting straight up right now, Terry's son is in the spirit world, and because of her yearning for his love, she created the Afterlife conference, which will be in Orlando, Florida, the first weekend of November this year. And this woman is amazing. And that's terrydaniel.net, TerriDaniel.net.
No, that's not right. It's DanielDirect.net. Daniel?
Like I said, DanielDirect.net. Terry is amazing. She is probably one of the most educated women I know. But the reason why I'm celebrating her is because the conference she's put together is amazing. Because if you have a need to want to connect with the afterlife, if you want scientific proof, if you want a very intelligent discovery of what's out there, her conferences are amazing. Now, Brant, hang on 1 second. Let's see that handsome man again. Brant, I know, I am. Brant happens to be one of the funniest men. He happens to be one of the funniest men I've ever met, and he's the MC of the Afterlife Conference. So he is not just an admin person today. He is very near and dear to all of our hearts that are part of the, and have been part of the birthing process of the Afterlife Conference. So I just want to say he the man. And I loved all the things that you said about women because, and just a little note on that, you know, we talk about this, but I don't want it to become a conversation where it's men versus women, because it's not. Within all of us, we have that masculine, we have that feminine. And what it is that within all of us, that dynamic, feminine, deep energy, the emotional base of us, the one that's willing to go into the darkness, that nurturer, that deep part of us, that's what needs to be more evident in the world to balance that energy, that masculine energy that's out in the world. So you could not have said it better, Brant, and that was very, very amazing.
And I would also like to add, Brant, would you give us a little pitch about your talk at the Afterlife Conference, what you're going to be talking about?
Sure.
Instead of the MC, you're also a speaker this year.
Yeah, well, so this is my first time speaking as a speaker. I trust me, I say plenty as master of ceremonies, mostly bad jokes. But Terry asked me, as over the years we've gotten to know each other better, she learned that I spent 30 years as a born-again Christian until about 10 years ago when I took my leave of the faith for all sorts of reasons that I'll talk about. And, you know, kind of what I learned, my spiritual journey, the things that I decided to keep from that experience, the things that I left behind, and, you know, just how it's transformed me and opened doors for me to continue the journey in a really beautiful and wonderful way that I'm so grateful for. So, you know, and learning about what I just talked about how we did suppress the divine feminine was a big part of that. I really opened my eyes and I was like, wow, you know, and as a man, you know, you can be pretty myopic about those things until, you know, until a wise woman comes into your life and opens the eyes for you. So I'm grateful for all the women in my life, including my 3 daughters and my 2 granddaughters. So I'm blessed, and I'll be talking about those things. So please come by and say hello, if nothing else. I'd love to see you.
And I should also add that, you know, it is true that, you know, demographically, it's mostly women who attend events like the Afterlife Conference, but we do have men, and they are extraordinary men. And I mean, the fact that they would come to our conference, that they would go to a medium, that they would want to work on their grief is, to me, just, you know, steps out beyond the normal masculine definition of how men are supposed to handle their pain and their curiosity about life. So just, you know, we should do something at the conference this year just to honor the men. Let's do something, Brant. Let's put our heads together. Maybe we'll have like a beer party or something. Something special for the men at the conference, because I really want to honor that they have the bravery to come there and bare their souls and be vulnerable in front of strangers and women, and yay for them. It's
great. A huge opportunity if you're willing to accept it.
Craft beer bar, says Karen McAfee. Okay,
I'm in.
We'll do that. So Austyn, how are you? How are you? Do you want to keep going, or how are you? What time is it now? We've been here about an hour and a half. It's probably about time to stop.
Okay.
So I guess we could just talk about the conference and the other stuff. Austyn, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, your private sessions and your groups and all that stuff? your class.
Okie dokie. Hi, my name is Austyn, and I'm a medium. I call myself, I know, I'm just goofy. I call myself a spiritual medium, and that's a reason for that, because I always believe that whenever we're having a conversation with our loved ones, there is the human pursuit of mediumship is to evidence the fact that our soul continues after the change called death, because we have forgotten we're immortal. The spirit world's desire with mediumship is always curative, because they witness what our souls are going through by missing that person, by having missed opportunities to connect with that individual. So within my work, I also call myself a soul gardener, because mediumship is the means by which I'm blessed to have these extraordinary conversations with souls that are out of physical body, that wish to connect and love and heal and relieve and empower and remind you just how much of a miracle you are. And they spend so much time and so much energy doing that they need help. So I get to spend time being helpful. Or it's not really me doing it. It's more the fact that I make myself available for their souls to have a conduit by which to speak. So mediumship is part of my bag of tricks. I'm also a shaman. So if you go to my website, kind of feel like I should have this really bad banner that like goes across the bottom of the screen. My name is Austyn.
Oh, no, 1-800-MEDIUM.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay. AustynWells.com. So that's AustynWells.com.
Typing it in.
Yes. So that's me. So I do shamanic work. I do essentially kind of like a soul regression, but I call it soul searching, because part of the fun of doing a regression for somebody is I also want to go to the spirit world and I want to see who's there, because you'll get an experience kind of like a medium doing that, and that's really fun. I do energy work, helping people as well. I do spirit circles. I do grief counseling for sure, but I also really know that it's such a lovely opportunity for people to connect with their loved ones. But some people, their belief systems need to be respected. They don't need to be changed or altered from where they are. They just need to be met exactly where they are. So I think that's everything, but I would be really remiss if I didn't share one super groovy thing that I'm rather excited about that's coming up, and I'm going to go to my phone for a second to try to get a picture to hold up. So forgive me for staring at my technology for just a moment.
But we'll keep them entertained while you do that.
Well, I think I know an individual that can keep us entertained during those things. I'll find it.
Brian, you got any jokes you want to tell while people are waiting?
No, but Laura just shared one that's hilarious in the comments. She said that a good name for a TV show would be The Well Done Medium. I thought that was pretty fun. Thank you, Laura.
Or how about what's
You get all
wrong
the
with
credit.
I think if you can see
the
this.
medium cross the road? Wait, we've got one. Okay, come on, Karen. Why did the medium cross the road?
Okay.
Talk to the other side.
Talk to the other
Love
side.
Love it.
Okay. So
Oh my
this
God.
is, I'm very happy to announce that this is my new book.
Yay.
It's available on Amazon. Isn't it cool? I'm so happy with it.
I love it.
It comes out February 2nd, 2019. You can order it on Amazon either by searching for Soul Conversations. And ironically, all of Oprah's books are just above mine, which is one of the brilliant things of having a publisher that has their head together. It's the best search thing. You go on Amazon, you search for Soul Conversations, books by Oprah, and then mine. Like, yeah, I get that. But anyway, so this is Soul Conversations. I'm super excited. Any of the things I've spoken about sing you, or you want to have deeper conversations. I love books by mediums. I read them all, a lot of them. I think there's lots of client storybooks. I wanted to write something that was a workbook for people to try to help them be as spiritual as possible and walk more centered in their soul within their life. So that's the book. I do online. I have a lot of online courses, whether you're developing medium or an intuitive. And I also do a thing called Soul Centered Sundays, which is kind of a format like this, which is why I know Zoom so well, where I spend an hour with you and we meditate together, and then we talk about spiritual concepts. Sometimes there's readings, sometimes there's exercises, but it's a really great way for you to have during your website, medium,
Austyn, you're breaking up a little bit, honey. Your internet is cutting out. Keep talking. Let's see. You might need to turn off your video so that you don't use so much bandwidth, because your video is frozen right now. Let's see. Cancel the spotlight video. Let's see if I can you say something? Can we turn off Austyn's video so that we just have her on audio?
Let's see. I think.
Oh, there she did it. Okay, can you,
there she
Austyn, say
does.
something? Oh, we lost her. Oh, no, there you are. Talk.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but keep on trying.
Well, I'm kind of weird, so that makes sense.
Oh, you know what? It's better without your video, so that's perfect. So just keep going.
Okay, so all I wanted to say was, if you go to the event page of my website, doing a physical mediumship demonstration in Santa Barbara on October, the calendar out now, October 20th, which would be really fun with medium AJ Barrera. I'll be in San Francisco speaking the FMBR group with Robert Medium, who's a brilliant English medium, on October 5th, and we're doing a class there October 6th. That will be coming to my website. And I'm just really honored, Terry, to have been here today. And I want to thank the people that have let me listen to their families and do readings. And I love you both very much.
Oh, we love you too, Austyn. I'm so honored that you were here with us tonight.
Thank
and
you
you've
for
been with
coming.
the Afterlife Conference for so long, and you're such a devoted friend and supporter of the conference. And same to you, Brent, and to all of our people here. Gosh, I think we're going to sign off now. Brent, you want to say something?
No, just thank you for coming and good night. Thank you, Austyn, so much for sharing your wisdom with us. You're a crone and a delight, as are you, Terry. And you guys rock. All of you guys rock. We're so happy to have you. And come by and say hello. We put our websites out there, so drop in and say hello virtually.
And I just want to say to a lot of people have just come in.
November 1st through the 4th in Orlando.
Sorry, Brent, sorry. A lot of people have just joined us in the last few minutes. Sorry you missed everything, but it's going to be recorded. So if you email me at office@afterlifeconference.com, or no, go to afterlifeconference.com, sign up on the link to join our email list, and we will send you the link to the recording of this teleclass. So
there you have it.
Okay, I think we're done.
All right, folks, we're done. Good night, everybody. Good night,
Love and
all.
kisses.
Good night,
Bye.
Terry.
See you next
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.